Hey you! Why these pants don't have any other colors? I hate it!
Karen? I work at the other shops, remember? We've met several times before.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Go get the employees now.
How can you be this entitled, Karen? Now, for every likes this video gets, one Karen will be kicked out of a mall. So please, smash that thumbs up and notification buttons. To the story. You have the wrong email address, which means I'm going to make some bad business decisions. Last year, I started receiving emails from a building owner, affectionately known as Jezza, by me anyway, and property manager for some buildings in the UK. I'm in Australia. It soon became apparent that they were under the impression that I was a business partner of Jezza. I tried to make it clear they had the wrong email, but they just laughed it off for ages. I was not really a fan of the approach that Jezza took to hiring and paying cleaning staff, particularly when one of the staff had some family emergency that interfered with her work, and Jezza just called her a time waster. So I decided to mess with them until they got the point. The property manager was CC'd on all of these emails. When the property manager said the cleaner would work for £15 per clean, I said we should pay £20 instead. When Jezza said no, I responded with the following. I just thought after the conversation that me and Jezza Wobbles had over a couple of tinnies last weekend that we agreed we no longer want to support a capitalist economy that entrenches the working poor. Let's actually start paying people living wages so that they can enjoy the pleasantries of life instead of wondering if they can make rent. That's what you said, wasn't it, Jezzy Poos? I guess you weren't serious about overthrowing the capitalist state. When Jezza ordered a sign for the bin store, I responded with this. Can we also arrange a sign for the back of the door at the main entrance encouraging people to have a really lovely day? Maybe another one in the bin store telling them to follow their dreams. And can we install signs over the phone socket in each flat asking them when they called their mom last? What do you reckon? Also, have you read The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Dog? Image text. I'm learning how to walk away from people and situations that threaten my belief systems and ego. And finally, when Jezza called the cleaner a time waster for having the audacity to have a family, I responded with this. Time wasters are just the worst, which is why we have decided to let you go, Jezza. You have been filling our inboxes with drivel for months and we're sick of it. Please clear out your desk by the end of the day. There were a couple more emails back and forth where Jezza actually said that if I didn't want to be included in emails, then there were better ways of saying it. I haven't heard from him since then, but I don't know if that's because he worked out I was not the person he thought I was, or because he thought his business partner no longer wanted to be CC'd. TLDR, I got included in a bunch of emails relating to the management of a building in another country, so I started making some bad business decisions. Oh, when you said that you haven't heard from him since then, maybe, just maybe, he packed up his desk, lol. To the second story. Regular for my work thinks I work everywhere apparently. I literally still think about this story all the time. Mostly because I still see this woman and she pretends like this never happened. I live in a fairly big city, so it's kind of unfortunate that I keep bumping into this woman, who I have to say I'm not too fond of. I work in a gift/curiosity shop, things candles and tarot cards and fancy overpriced bars of soap in an older, affluent neighborhood of my city. Customer X comes into the gift shop quite regularly and always has a million questions and is the kind of customers that no matter how busy you are, demands all of the attention be on her. Now, our shop is fairly small, so literally everyone you turn hears is this woman. Fine, whatever, she's kinda rude but manageable, and she always spends a decent amount of money, so... Now, it is important to note that customer X has a small dog, We'll call this dog Pickles. That is the cutest dog. The second customer's ex enters the store. She drops Pickles' leash and goes about her business, leaving Pickles to do whatever Pickles' little heart desires. Sometimes it just comes and sit next to me and get pets. Sometimes it is not. Again, it's not a big store. It doesn't really matter. Pickles can't really get into much trouble. I like the dog. Flash forward to our I don't work here story. One day, I'm shopping at a well-known clothing store, the kind with levels and elevators, a real unit of a clothing store clear across the city. While I'm looking at some sweaters, I feel a cold little nose press up against my leg. And when I look down, who I see? You betcha! It was Pickles, tail wagging, leash trailing behind them, customer X nowhere to be seen. I think to myself, wait, I know this dog. I don't really want to bump into customer X. I'm certain she'll recognize me. We have interacted multiple times at this point, but Pickles is old, and this was a big store, so I scooped up the dog and I set off to find customer X. After too much searching, it turns out customer X was on a completely other level than we were, meaning either A, this old Springer Spaniel somehow went up 2 escalators by herself, or B, this woman straight up does not give a hoot and left her dog on a random floor of a clothing store. Who does that? I tried to say a friendly hello to customer X, something along the lines of, "Hey, I was shopping and I recognized your dog." And before I could even remind her where she knew me from, and that it's not weird that I brought her dog, customer X hits me with, "Do you have this shirt in another size? I hate this color. Why don't you have any different styles of this pant?" I was so taken aback by what I can only describe as the audacity of this tramp that I could only muster a polite, "I actually don't work here. I work at the other store." To which she responded with, "Well, can you go ask somebody for a different size?" I was more than happy to say no. TLDR, I run into nightmare customer from my own work finding her dog in a clothing store, and the customer proceeds to treat me like she's in my store. Ooh, the audacity of that woman. So entitled. The third story. Wholesome lady helped me when she didn't have to. Not crazy nor funny, but greatly appreciate this kind lady to this day. This was during my first year of college when I was starting to figure out how to take care of myself when I was sick. I was trying to get a tea strainer for some loose leaf tea that I got so I could drink tea and feel better since my throat hurt so much. Would have definitely stayed home if I lived with someone, but I was in a dorm at the time and no one I knew had a car on campus except for me. So, my sick, very sniffly, slightly delusional self drove to Target to get myself a tea strainer. I don't shop at Target often, so I'm not the most familiar with the store, and for some reason, the tea strainers were like an end cap for the cart aisle. Anyways, I was looking everywhere, could not find it, also somewhat out of it. Then, I see a lady wearing a red shirt, the magical Target red shirt. Salvation has blessed me. Me, "Hi, would you happen to know where the tea strainers are?" Her, "Oh, sweetie, I don't work here." Me, "Oh, I'm so sorry, thank you." Not too sure why I still said thank you, but I did. Like, thank you for dealing with my stupidity, I guess? And I thought that was the end of the interaction. A little later, I'm still searching for these gosh darn tea strainers, and this lady comes back with an employee that can definitely help me. Her, "Here's someone that can help you. Hope you feel better." I was very obviously sick and out of it, so she knew what was up, and quite certain everyone in that town was used to absolutely clueless college kids. I still have that tea strainer. Hope this little bit of happy don't work here story makes someone smile. Very nice and happy story. I'm willing to bet that your politeness may have been the reason the lady went out of her way to get someone to help you. The fourth story. Karen goes to a tattoo shop. Maybe 10 years ago, I owned a tattoo shop that was located next door. Same strip mall to a piercing shop. I had gone next door to watch the lobby for the piercer while they ran and grabbed some change. So Karen walks in, and I get why she thinks I work there. I'm sitting behind a counter.
Karen, I was here last week and you screwed up my piercing. It's infected now and I need you to fix that.
Me, I don't work here, I'm just...
Karen, no, it was you. I remember your tattoos. Look.
She proceeds to show me her navel piercing, swollen over the cheap crappy jewelry, obviously not from the upscale shop where I was currently at, and covered in yellow crust. Me, the piercer will be right back, he just went.
Karen, no, you. You screwed up and now you're going to fix it. I'm not dealing with anyone else. They shouldn't have to fix your mistakes.
Me, I don't work here. I haven't done a piercings in years. I'm sure the piercer will be happy to.
Karen, are you calling me a liar? I remember you. I don't want some guy touching me.
Mind you, the only piercers who worked there at the time were men.
You need to help me, or I'm going to have to go to the hospital and have this thing surgically removed. Then I'll have to sue you for my medical bills.
Me, since I'm not a piercer, I don't know for sure, but that thing looks pretty gross. Maybe you should go to the hospital and get it checked out?
Karen, I'm not going to the hospital. I'm going to fix it. You screwed it up. I need this fixed today.
Me, okay, fill out this form and we will see what can be done. I was tired of dealing with her. I just wanted her to stop talking. The piercing shop had a long release form that everyone has to fill out, so I gave her one of those to keep her busy till the piercer returned. While she was working on the form, the piercer returned. I explained that she was upset and had an issue with her navel, and then snuck out the back door to return to my much quieter tattoo shop. Maybe 10 minutes pass, and guess who walks into my shop?
Karen, I want to get a tattoo done today.
This lady acted like she had never seen me before. No mention of me being in other shop or anything. Me, I'm sorry, but I'm busy today. We're booked out for several months and not able to take any new clients for a while.
Karen, I want...
Proceeds to describe a fairly large and detailed tattoo. I cannot recall of what.
I know how much tattoo costs, so I don't intend to overpay.
Me, there's no way I can tattoo you today, and I'm about to lock up for lunch. Karen goes through the gate that separates the lobby from the tattoo station, sits down on my message table, and holds out $40.
How long do you think this will take? Can I use your phone? I have to call my husband and tell him when I will be home.
Me, in kind of a stern voice, I'm super non-confrontational, so this was weird for me. Ma'am, you have to leave. You're not getting tattooed here today. I'm not taking new clients, and you have been kind of rude both here and next door, and I just plain don't want your business.
Karen, here.
Holds out $40 again.
You're not busy, so I don't see what the problem is. How do you even stay open if you refuse to tattoo anyone? Here.
Again with the $40. Me, kind of hungry at this point. We tattoo plenty of people, I just won't be tattooing you. You're demanding a $400 tattoo for $40 when I'm already booked and you were rude to me next door. Please take your stuff. She'd emptied half of her purse on the table to show pics similar to the tattoo she wanted and leave. I'm trying to get lunch before my next appointment.
Karen, I don't mind waiting.
Me, totally annoyed and kind of rude. I am not tattooing you now or ever. Get your crap and get out of my shop and don't ever come back here again. At this point, I picked up her tattoo reference photos and shoved them back in her purse to hand to her. Karen switched to full-blown banshee.
What the duck are you doing? Give me my purse. You're trying to rob me. Give me my ducking money or I'll call the police.
She carried on a bit more, but I cannot recall what she said. So I walked to the door, opened it, and threw her purse outside. Me, call whoever the duck you want, but you need to leave now. She practically leaped for the door, continuing to scream about her purse, the contents of which had spilled from me tossing it, and on her way out, She pushed me hard enough that I cut my shoulder on the corner of a vending machine in the lobby. I locked the doors behind her, gathered my things, and left on foot out the back to get lunch at the bar a couple doors down. While I was at lunch, I was there for over an hour working on stuff on my laptop. I got a notification that someone had left a review. Guess who? It was the most insane and confusing review I ever read. My favorite parts were that I had secretly disclosed having hepatitis to her and that her nephew was going to do an apprenticeship with us but wouldn't after how she was treated. The rest of it was profanity and saying my shop was dirty, I'm a drug addict, etc. So I flagged it with Google and figured that was the end of that. My shop had a little enclosed patio at the front entrance with seating and a smoking area for clients as well as a bunch of potted plants and decorations. When I returned, I found out all but one of my pots broken, dirt and plants everywhere, a bench thrown halfway over the fence, the Christmas lights had been torn down, my gate had been kicked or pushed so hard it was sitting crooked on the hinges, my small window had been broken, one of the letters torn off my tattoo signs, and my ducking car was keyed. My car had a huge sticker for my shop, and my plate was TA2NU, so it was obvious who to target. Not a little bit keyed either. This tramp went ducking crazy while keying my car. There was so much damage, I couldn't believe she'd been able to do it in the hour or so I'd been gone. I was super bummed. No one had seen it happening because the strip small door parking lot configuration was kind of weird. So I started crying. I was so bummed about my shop and the car and all of it. I'm really low key and get stressed easy and this was just too much. I then called the police, canceled my next appointment, and went next door to visit while I waited for the cops. I found out the lady had been crazy rude to the piercer as well and that he wound up kicking her out as well. She wanted him to replace the crappy jewelry she'd gotten it pierced with another shop with a $150 barbell for free and became irate when he refused. So irate that she pushed all the flyers from the flyer table onto the ground as she left while cussing him out. So the cops showed up and took the report. It takes me a while to fill out everything and he took a photo of the cut I got from being pushed and we showed him the video of her trashing the place. It didn't catch all of it, but enough. The cop was telling me that the report was pretty much just for the insurance cause we don't know who she is or how to find her when I remembered the release form. Part of their release form process was to take a photocopy of a client ID cards on the form. They have laminated form you just copy with ID, so it's all on one page. So that's what I'd done when I was trying to shut her up. We dug the release form out of the trash and the cops then had her full name, recent address, which she had written in cause it was different than her ID card, phone number, etc. She lived not even a half mile from the shop. So the cops drove to her house and arrested her. She got in trouble for all of it. By the time it was over, she had to serve several months in jail, and I assume a long time on probation. And I bet she had to attend classes, just a guess, I don't know. I got a notification several months later letting me know that she'd gotten out of jail, and I remember thinking, darn, she was there in a while. The following day, her husband called me to find out what the damages were so he could cover the cost. By the time I added it up, it was close to $5,000. I was kind of a jerk and I taxed the duck out of them and quoted him as though I paid people top dollars to fix all the stuff I actually fixed myself, like replace and set up the plants, the fence, etc. He brought an envelope of cash in the next day after I told him the cost, or it may have been that evening. It was weird. He was a nice, acting, seemingly normal guy. He apologized and said she has a temper. This means this Karen could have afforded the jewelry she was trying to get for free and the tattoo she was trying to get for cheap. I assume anyways, seems like he just had the money laying around since he came up with it so fast. But don't worry, none of this stopped Karen. After she got out of jail for about a year, my shop would get these random super weird reviews from random Gmail accounts that had no other reviews. I have no proof it was her, but we never got bad reviews till this happened, and they were all written in the same way. They all just sounded like the same person wrote them. Some of my favorite highlights from the reviews: that I am a prostitute and operate that business out of the shop, that we reuse needles, that we did misspelled tattoo, that I sell drugs from the shop, that you can find naked pictures of me online, that we tattooed a minor without a parent, that we allow and had dogs in the shop, that we got shut down by health department, and that I hire illegal immigrants. There was plenty of other stuff, and it was all pretty far out. That is just all I can remember. This lady would write paragraphs of weird crap every time, just rambling lunacy. I was in business over 15 years. That was the only Karen I ever remember having to deal with. I'm sure there were a few other rude customers, but nothing like that. I wondered if she ever realized that she provided us with information that made it super easy to track her down right after. My question to you guys is that, does anyone else ever feel kind of bad for Karens? Like, it must be kind of hard to live a life where you're always tripping out. TLDR, some lady got arrested because she gave us her address. I mean, if you could proven that she wrote those false reviews, she could potentially face a lawsuit for libel. And I would pursue that. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time.